we're just going to keep this here. So right now we have Newport and Palo Alto. Newport is going to be on the blue side, and we're going to get this game started immediately for you guys. So we saw Newport take that first game very decisively with their team comp and their late game that they had coming for them. They did a very great job there. Palo Alto is going to be on the purple side this time, on the right side of your screen. So I'm Zirene. I'll be solo casting for you today. And right now we have a Zed ban coming out, an Orianna and a Vayne. These are probably targeted bans at somebody, but I'm not sure. We didn't see any of these champions last game. We didn't see an Orianna or a Vayne or a Zed. So I'm not sure. I would have to think they were targeted bans. The Twisted Fate also coming out as well means they don't want to see that global pressure. They don't want somebody to get popped by Zed. And the Orianna ban as well is just a lot of team fight presence as well as the Vayne. And what ended up happening in the late game of that last game for Palo is their Misfortune was doing so well. And like I said, she's a walking ultimate. So if you use that ultimate incorrectly, you basically do nothing. And the fact that she built attack damage and the Graves was so far ahead, if you couldn't kill Graves and just make it so that your team had an advantage because your ADC was up, then that Graves was just wreaking havoc. They couldn't do anything about it, and MF got dropped, couldn't do anything, and basically becomes a wet noodle at that point. You don't hit people very fast, you hit them hard, but she's not a cooldown, a low cooldown champion. Her double up and her bullet time have rather long cooldowns. Her impure shots does give her some attack speed when you activate it, but the MF pick may not be the best ADC to pick up on that team comp. She has fallen off lately, especially in Season 3, near the end of it right now, with people favoring Caitlyn for tower pushes in the range, Vayne for late game comp, Varus for the lockdown and the fact that he can burst people from afar if they get away after a team fight, and Tristana for her late game hyper carry as well. Ezreal for his blue build. Graves, Misfortune have kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit, and alongside Draven as well after the most recent change. Draven's still a late game. He has a lot of trouble in the late game, but his early game is very, very strong. And the final bans that we see coming out are Jason Thresh. So it looks like they don't want to see Newport banning out. I did that again, didn't I? Sorry. Palo Alto actually banning out the Jace away from Newport, making sure that they don't have the Jace that they had last time. So that's a kind of a nod off to Turtle. His Jace was very terrifying and very strong early and late game. He was able to almost double the CS of Singed. So he was, I think, actually more than double the CS of Singed in that last game. So just showing how strong he is on that champion and how strong he is early, middle, and late game with his build and his skill ordering when he leveled up the W first. So that was, or second. That was very great, very well played on his part. So Palo Alto is on the blue side and Newport is on the purple side. I may have said that in reverse last time. So on the right side of your screen, you will have Newport, and on the left side, you will have Palo Alto. Once again, Newport took that first game very decisively over Palo Alto, and they will be on purple team this time in this best of 3. So I don't know what's going to have to happen here in order for Palo Alto to end up with a game 3. So right now it's 11-11. Hopefully, somebody realizes that and makes a wish that they win. And that's the team that's going to have the advantage now, is the one that makes the wish. So you guys as viewers, wish for whichever team you want to win. You can go ahead and put it down in chat too, but I don't know if you're one of those people who are like, oh, 11-11, I don't tell people my wish and then it won't come true. So we are going to see Crush, or, oh, you know what? Let's see. Somebody told me this. Nemu, so his name is Nemu. Nemu Crush. So Nemu Crush picking up that Graves again. He did very well on it. Aerial Platypus once again on that Janna. So they aren't going to switch up their bottom lane at all for Newport. But they are going to pick up the Zac in the jungle. And Artur says, I'm going to show you how to play Zac. I'm going to show you when to engage, when not to engage to locked. And it might be a masterclass, I don't know. Or it might just be a disaster. And Turtle going to pick up that Aurelia this time instead. So having that Jace banned out, picking up that Aurelia instead. So I'm not sure if that's one of his favorite champions or not, but it's still Aurelia, a very great top laner. Has fallen off lately in competitive play for more aggressive picks, more spiky picks in the mid game, because Aurelia is a very big late game champion who has kind of a mid-late spike, but doesn't have a lot of early game presence unless you play her to a T. If you get ganks and you can get ahead, you'll be able to snowball her very effectively. And it looks like they pick up a Darius in response to that. They say, you have true damage, I have true damage too. Just watch this. So, looks like CMI picking up that Darius to go ahead up against that Aurelia in the top lane. But we also see a Gragas coming out. And this is actually going to give Boxer a chance. Nemu Boxer is going to be able to go ahead and pick up whatever he wants against this Gragas. So Ramen Bull actually opting to take the Tristana this time with the support of Sona. So once again, Lazar64 going to pick up that Ignite again on his support. And Ramen Bull going to have that late game support. So Tristana, they're looking for that late game range that she brings to the table. And Graves, on the other hand, has 525 range, which would pale in comparison to the 708 that Tristana brings to the table when she's level 18. So very, very scary late game composition coming out for both teams. Actually, they both have about an even amount of late game terror right now. Darius can build tanky and still do a lot of damage for his team, but I think that I actually am a little confused right now. I just noticed this, but Locked is actually playing mid. And Locked is playing mid this game, whereas last game he was playing jungle, and OHD Kenny is on the Elise in the jungle. So they actually swapped roles. OHD Kenny was previously on the Ahri last game, and Locked was on the Zac in the jungle for the team of Palo Alto. So they have actually swapped roles, not just pick different champions, but they've swapped roles completely. So I guess maybe Locked was just too aggressive in the jungle and was making the wrong plays. They took him off that duty and said, let's get Kenny on it. But Locked picking Gragas up, and he's going to be facing against Boxer's Ahri. Boxer was facing against OHD Kenny's Ahri's last game, and so he's picking up Ahri for himself now instead of the Diana. So right now the countdown timer is going down. So you have a couple moments. If you want to check out the HS Star League, go ahead, go to their website at hsstarleague.com. You can follow them on Twitter, you can like them on Facebook, and you can follow them on Twitch as well. I'm Zirene. I'm casting this game solo. I have been casting all day for you guys, and hopefully you know me by now. You can follow me on Twitter as well, at LOLZirene. I cast for multiple things, so you can go ahead and, I usually throw things up there when I'm going to be casting. The HS Star League has been put together by high school students who really want to have a high school sport for League of Legends. They want to make it an esport just like you would have a real traditional sport like football. So this is a national tournament across the nation that's happening for high school League of Legends players. So if you're a high school student and you want to get involved, go ahead, check us out at hsstarleague.com. Register yourself or your team to compete in the next tournament. We will be bigger next time. We will just continue to grow with your support. So please follow us, get us where we need to be to really make this impact. So everything you do really helps. Every little comment you give us, every little constructive criticism helps. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for following us. It is late, and you guys just want to see some quality League of Legends, so it's going to come straight at you right now. And you're going to have people who, if you're a high school student, these are your peers playing, and you could be in their spot competing as well. So go ahead and sign yourself up as well, and get in on the action. If you're a college student, you can go ahead and get involved at your college as well. Just make esports as big as it possibly can be. So get involved in the scene. Don't take a back seat. If you really like League of Legends and you really like playing video games, make your voice heard for the esports and support your local, or I guess your national tournament providers. So thank you so much for being here. We're about to be in the game in about 20 seconds now, and then in about 50 minutes my voice will be dead. So I'm ready for this. I hope all of you are ready for this at home. And we're going to have Palo Alto on the left side of your screen on the blue team, and Newport on the purple side of your screen on the right side. So I'm Zirene, once again, bringing this game to you. This is the second game in a best of 3, with Newport having taken the first round for themselves in a decisive late game victory. And here we go, you guys. Let's get on in here. Load screen coming up right now. thank you so much once again for being with us, because without you guys, we wouldn't have the High School Star League. You guys wouldn't be watching it right now, and we wouldn't be even streaming on Twitch if people didn't want to see this kind of thing. So if you like seeing this, please follow us. Show us, show us what you, show us your support, and oh, the dongers being raised in chat. Oh boy. Oh, that message was immediately deleted, so I don't recommend raising your dongers. Although I personally like it, but it was the mods don't, I guess. But so we're getting into the game here. I did actually put up the overlay a little prematurely. I apologize for that. Thank you so much for being with us today. Once again, if you are joining us, this is the HSL Star League. Palo Alto is on the blue side and Newport on the purple side. Purple side is one game up in this best of 3 series. Let's see if they can either close it out or Palo Alto can come back and make us go for a game 3 and late into the night. So Locked once again switching roles with OHD Kenny. Not sure how that's going to work out for him, but Lazar once again taking the ignite on Sona. And they really needed an exhaust that last game. That Nemu got really, really terrifying and really fed on his Graves last game, and they didn't have an exhaust for it late game. They just had an ignite, and he was able to just burst people down and then clean up the fight afterwards as well. So he was doing a lot of work for his team all throughout the game, and they really didn't have an answer for it. The exhaust probably would have been a great thing to have, but now their answer for it is going to be that late game Darius. So what they're looking to do is probably throw in a Gragas ultimate by Locked into the middle of the team, separate them out, have Darius pull that person that gets caught out even closer to himself or multiple people, or even stack them up for the Gragas ultimate. But I would recommend using it to separate people and pick them off, have Darius pull somebody in with his apprehend, then use his ultimate, his decapitation, to solidify the kill, get the kill, have the reset on it for a limited amount of time. It doesn't work the same way it used to. And then continue engaging with that reset on the Darius and the Tristana with her getting into the game finally right now. Going to line up the champions. Before I forget about that, thank you. Big shout out to the person who reminded me about that. I believe, I got to give you a proper shout out for that. That was Board Blizzard helped me with that, so thank you so much for that. Anything you guys can do to help me out and make my job a little easier, considering that I've been doing this for a long time and that I'm solo casting at this point. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we have a pause coming out here right now, which I think might give me more time to line up these champions. Yeah, it does. That's awesome. So we are going to have Zach in the jungle against this Elise, Aurelia in the top lane against this Darius, and we're going to have Ari against Gragas in the middle lane, as well as a Sona Tristana against the Janna Graves. And I'm not sure what they're talking about right now. I keep my chat hidden for various reasons. You don't want people saying things that, could be offensive, and we'll just have tournament admins take care of that kind of thing if it gets screenshotted. So right now, pause coming out. Not sure. There has been no purchases by the Zach, by Arturted, and from Locked on his Gragas. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. They actually haven't bought anything. So I don't know if the pause is because of that, because they couldn't buy, or because they're lagging, or somebody hasn't loaded yet. But either way, it gives us a moment here. Once again, thank you guys. I can't stop thanking you guys enough for being here. It's really an honor to be shoutcasting for the High School Star League, and they've done a great job considering they're just high school students. It just blows my mind. I mean, I'm much older than most of them, I assume. So, they just been doing a great job here, and they are taking this I guess company, or I guess this thing that they've put together, the High School Star League, the website and the organization. They're taking this to new places. They're really getting this off the ground, and they're doing a great job of doing it. I've been talking with them all day. They're fantastic people, and they really know what they want. They really know what they're doing with this, and they have a vision. So definitely hop on board with that. Get involved if you can. I'm sure that they need people to help them with everything that they're doing. I think they might need people to help them improve the quality of what the product that they're bringing you. So whether it's streaming overlays, go ahead and volunteer your services. You can go to the website at hsstarleague.com. You can show them what you're worth. Get involved as well, because they do StarCraft and League of Legends. Then the League of Legends branch is just developing, so they are going to need more help, more people who are dedicated and involved to the scene, or dedicated to the scene, get more involved in it, so that they can expand it and make it, although it is already national, you know, one day maybe make it international. I'm not sure, but that's really where we need to head with esports at this point. So we are seeing a great effort from the HSL. You know, it's something that shouldn't be overlooked or something that shouldn't be, you know, just brushed off. They are going places and they are doing things. So I would highly recommend hopping on that and getting involved. So if you want to do that, please make your voice heard. Go over to that website, hsstarleague.com, and follow them as well if you like what you're seeing and you want to get more involved. The games are only going to get better, you guys. They're only going to get better. These are just the first rounds coming out here, which means that the people who win were the people who are more skilled in those matchups or had more cohesion within their teams. So the winner of one game who had more skill and more cohesion is going to play the winner of a different game who had more skill and cohesion. So then you're going to have this great matchup of teams that have already won the matches they previously won. Or who have already, sorry. I'm getting tongue-tied, it's late, and I'm talking by myself. So it's kind of weird. Thankfully, Locked just reconnected. He did DC earlier, and that was the reason for the pause. But like I was saying, oh wow, did I just forget what I was saying? Oh lordy. Oh lordy. I think I was saying something awesome, though. I'll just leave it at that. I was saying something awesome. I was saying something completely awesome and groundbreaking, and it's not going to matter anymore because I forgot. I won't even look at chat right now because I'm just ashamed. I was going somewhere with that, though. And it looks like we're going to have the pause, the unpause come out right now. So hopefully this game gets underway right now. Oh yeah, I was saying that the games are just going to get better. Yeah! So the games are just going to get better, you guys. These teams that win their rounds, their best of 3, are going to go against other teams that have won their best of 3. So the games are only going to get better because these teams have already come together to win a previous round. So that's what I was going to say. I didn't even look at chat. I get a gold star, I think. And I think my name might also be on the screen still because I just remembered that. So I take that off. Okay, so thank you so much for being here. And hopefully we see some action coming out straight away. Ari actually opting to pick up an extra reward for herself and start with that fairy pendant, whereas Locked on his Gragas is going to pick up a ward as well, but he's also going to take in the crystalline flask and also help himself have extra sustain in that lane. Gragas already brings a lot of sustain to the table with his drunken rage, I believe it's called. Yeah, his drunken rage alongside his passive, so he's able to restore HP and mana because Drunken Rage doesn't cost any mana to use. So it's actually going to keep him in lane longer. He's going to have great presence there. But with the Crystalline Flask on top of that, I don't know if it's overkill or if he expects to take a lot of poke. But we're going to see how that's going to work out for him very shortly. Elise, OHD Kenny actually starting at red first instead of the blue. Going to have to travel over there. I think his plan is to go from red to blue to top. And he notices that top doesn't have a ward. Top started cloth 5 against this Darius. So Turtle is actually in a situation where he might be very vulnerable to a gank. Well, he will be vulnerable to a gank. Because he's Aurelia, he doesn't have an escape aside from his flash, unless he can play something really tricky with minions and his Blade Surge. So it's really going to rely on maybe Zac coming up there for a counter gank at the same time. But the ward is placed down by CMI. So CMI's... They do ping where it is, so they know that the ward is there, and we're going to see some action up top very shortly as both junglers converge on that position. Turtle gets pulled in with the Apprehend, and the Equilibrium Strike does come out, and we do have the Repel actually closes the distance. OHD Kenny is very low. Archer did jumped in with the Elastic Slingshot, does end up dying, and the first blood does go over to Aurelia, and that puts the double buff onto Aurelia for the double kill, and this is very scary for Palo Alto. Newport picking up a double kill on Aurelia, handing her double buffs this early in the game is immensely scary. Aurelia is one of those characters that has a very kind of iffy early game that I talked about and has that mid-late game spike. And if you can make her laning phase that much easier with a blue and red buff, as well as a double kill, a CS advantage, and a level advantage, you are really really helping her out and helping her play her game. And Locked once runs straight into an elastic slingshot that was up by R-Turted. He's going to get in front of him, so he can't body slam away, but the Ignite comes down as well from Boxer, and he picks up that kill for himself, and that is 3-0 in the favor of Newport right now. So Newport, being in the driver's seat of this game, they're almost 2k gold ahead immediately. And that is 4 minutes into the game, 3 kills. If we see another kill come out, we're going to be having a kill a minute. This is already such a great game coming out, and these are high school students, you know, and they're playing game. Doesn't make a difference how old you are. You see the people in the LCS are like 19, 20 years old. Some of them are fresh out of high school. Some of them are in high school, I believe. Zion Spartan as well for Team Coast, the top laner. He's in high school. These people are basically your age if you're a high school student, and they are making this game into a career for them. So I had a co-caster here earlier who was talking about, you know, high school students being unskilled, but that's not true. High school students are just as skilled as anybody else, you know, and, you know, arguably even more so. As you get older, St. Vicious says he hasn't been able to smite as well as he used to. And he did used to smite pretty well, but there's just younger people coming into the scene who are doing a better job than he is. And he's kind of blaming it on age. And, you know, it is a little bit warranted. As you get older, you don't see a lot of 30-year-olds playing StarCraft. Carpal tunnel kicks in. You don't see them playing League. So I believe the oldest person in the LCS is Vile Rose. I think he has a kid and a wife. So, you know, he can't be a complete nerd. He has a wife. Girls! So not a lot of action coming out here in this game, though. Currently, you know, just having a little bit of a lull phase. There was a lot of action that was happening just a minute ago, and people are really saying, you know what, we want to hit level 6 before we see any of that action happen again, because that really, level 6 is really just going to be an explosion here. Gragas is behind Ari in the mid, so Nemu Boxer is very ahead with very early. He's 12 CS ahead, 1 kill up on him, and which means he missed experience too, so he's going to be hitting an early level 6 in comparison if he can push this lane and maybe actually take down Locked with a Spirit Rush. He doesn't have Ignite available, but he does have Flash as well, and he just hit that 6, and he's looking for it right now. He's positioning himself for that charm, clearing the wave with his Q, so he's looking for that charm. He is thirsty for blood. That Fox wants some blood. And they saw that OHD Kenny did just be, there was a ward over by those Wraiths, so he was able to see that OHD Kenny did back and is no longer in the lane to help support Gragas or Locked when he gets jumped on right now. So he's looking for that window of opportunity. Boxer has been known to dive. He did dive with his Diana. He wasn't afraid. He was just going straight in there and applying that damage, knowing he could do that damage, and knowing the amount of damage his character can do in the amount of time that he's given. This is very crucial to know, very crucial when playing a character. And right now, Locked hit level 6 as well, so he will have that explosive cask to help disengage, or actually mess it up and bring Ari closer to him, which can happen. It's been known to happen. And since Boxer has multiple Spirit Rush charges on his ultimate, he is able to get those quite easily. He's priming Locked for this. He's getting it ready. He does have his exhaust, not his exhaust. He does have his Ignite at the ready right now, and he is applying tower pressure currently. And he hits him again with that really nice Q. And Zach is starting to contest that red. He's R-turted, just ready to take it. And this switch for them is working. I mean, it's not working out so well for Locked and Kenny on the team of Palo Alto. Now we see Kenny coming down. They did see him come around. So R-turted says, you know what, I need your help. They're converging on me. And he's using Let's Bounce to try and get out of there. Nemu Boxer coming across. Is he going to protect the blobs? I don't know. It is a 4v1 with him in Cell Division right now. Just one more. He just gets taken out right there, and they're going to disengage that and take that free kill, and the red goes back onto Kenny. So it was pretty much Kenny got to do his jungle, but also got to destroy his Zac as well. So picks up that extra gold for himself. But down bottom, that did pull the attention of Ramen Bowl and Laser towards the dragon. I mean, not towards the dragon, sorry, towards the red buff, towards the lizard. So Graves was able to push and once again have that CS lead that he's known for having in these last few games. And looks like Turtle went all in there on CMI, blew everything, blew his Ignite and his Transcendent Blades, the multiple charges of them, to try and burst down the Darius, but he wasn't able to actually finish him. And that means his Transcendent Blades is going to be on cooldown as well as his Ignite. So we might actually see Ari come up top for this gank. I mean, not Ari, sorry. Kenny come up top on the Elise for this gank. Ari actually going towards the blue. And they have no... he just points out where the ward is with that ping. He says, there's a ward right there. If you guys are going to come in, you have to avoid that. And so we're going to see Gragas return to the middle. But Zach has come up top now. And this looks pretty bad for Darius. Darius will have a Zach all over him and an Aurelia in just a moment. And they aren't afraid to tower dive this. I don't think Turtle is the type of person to be afraid of tower diving. Zach did just die and lost his passive. But they do have that 2k gold lead. And once again, OHD Kenny is up top. R-Turted is up top as well. But OHD Kenny coming back up top. The engage is actually a false engage because they are actually going to get counter engaged right now. Turted jumps on in there, picks him up. Turtle actually getting the kill there onto Elise. And once again, the red buff going on to the person you don't want it on right now. Turtle. Turtle's going to get that next level. He is level 8. He's close to level 9. And they are pinging all over that Gragas. Ari says, you know what, he's right here. Noomboxer closing that distance, gets him in, puts the charm onto him. Zach, elastic slingshots in, but locked, flashes over that wall and secures himself. So he isn't going to die, and they aren't going to take that top turret because they didn't apply the pressure during that. Instead, they collapsed all over the team of Palo Alto. And down bottom, Nemu Crush is actually looking to take this turret. He has the extra damage from the Janna shield, and he's just doing a great job. He isn't taking much poke himself. Ramen Bull should outrange him currently with the levels from Tristana's passive, so he's actually probably in a better situation. And the fact that his support is a sustained support, but it looks like Ramen Bull is having a bad time. He's rushing that Blade of the Ruined King against somebody who's going to be rushing the Bloodthirster. So Blade of the Ruined King does give you dual potential, but not as powerful as a Bloodthirster early in the game. You pick up Bloodthirster and charge it up because you get more damage and lifesteal per kill, per minion kill, and you ramp that item up. Blade of the Ruined King is just quick, I got this. You have a little extra damage, extra attack speed, the active and the passive on it, but you don't have as much lifesteal or as much damage. And since, oh wow, we have Nemu Crush actually just blowing up Ramen before the fight even starts for them. The Lazarus actually whiffed the crescendo onto Nemu Rush. Nemu Rush trying to get out of here. He does get hit by the Q, and then he swaps forms. Kenny looking for that final Q coming out. The flash does come out from Laser, and Laser does get that kill. But all this time it's added up so that Nemu Boxer can come down bottom with R-Turted. The Repel coming across. Repels over to the side, trying to save himself, but the charm happens as well, and R-Turted actually picks up Laser underneath the turret. And that is, I believe, a 3-for-1 exchange in the favor of Newport there, because they picked up Tristana very early as well, and they're going to transfer this into a dragon. Oh wow, so Locked actually trying to take out that ward. Of course, they do have vision of him, and they're going to pick up this dragon for themselves for Newport. So Newport looking very good right now. 4.4k gold ahead, and they are just doing work right now. The Gragas rolling a barrel in there onto the dragon. Doesn't pick it up, but does a great job of almost taking out R-Turted there. And that is got to be very scary for the team of Palo Alto right now. They lost a dragon. Newport has a lot more gold than they do. They're up 5 kills. No turrets have been taken, but that is just something that they're going to have to deal with, and they're going to have to deal with playing from behind now, which is something you never want to do. But despite all that, Nemu is actually a little bit behind Ramen Bull in terms of experience. And before I got interrupted by the team fight, I was going to say that Nemu actually, on the Graves, flourishes with picking up that Bloodthirster as opposed to a Blade of the Ruined King, because he is kind of like a caster. Graves plays like a caster AD with the Buckshot, which is AD based, as well as his ultimate, which has an AD ratio on it as well. So he actually does really well with building lots of attack damage as opposed to attack speed, but he's kind of that happy in between of the MF, where you don't have to build flat attack damage to be effective, but you can build attack speed as well. And it's actually very recommended because his quick draw lowers in cooldown by 1 second every time you hit something. So it's his mobility tool, so he gains more mobility the more aggressive he is, or the more damage he does, or the more he attacks. So having attack speed makes it so that your attack speed steroid has a lower cooldown when you actually engage somebody, so it's very good. And it looks like we once again have Arturted doing work on that Zac, hanging off in the side and ready to jump in onto Locked, but Locked doesn't see that either. He has no idea that this is coming, and he's off on the side, and he might be able to make it over. He does have the almost max rank for Elastic Slingshot, uses Let's Bounce onto Locked, gets in front of him of the Body Slam, and it looks like he gets taken out there by Nemu Boxer. They told me this before the game, that how it's pronounced. But the repel comes across, and he does get the Q onto Ari, and it looks like OHC Kenny trying to get turreted, jumping over the wall. The cocoon was not available for the follow-up there. So Kenny actually getting the counter kill there onto the enemy. So they just basically exchanged mid laners there. It was very well played by both sides. But the Elastic Slingshot just showing how much range that has on it. And the fact that the blue up is up, OHC Kenny's going to have a difficult time right now. Turtle is so far ahead. He's 2 levels ahead of CMI on that Darius, and they know that he's coming around this corner. Kenny gets slowed with the Equilibrium Strike. He is running straight by them. There is nothing for him to repel to. He's just his inevitable death. His flash goes away, but the Transcendent Blade once again picking up the kill and handing the red buff over to Turtle. They are just giving buffs to Turtle all game. He is there's 6k gold ahead on Newport. And wow, down bottom, the collateral damage coming across and picking up Sona there. And that is the power of building straight damage onto Graves. He's at 135 CS, 15 minutes into the game. And this game is not going the way that Palo Alto wanted it to. They are behind right now. They're behind in dragons, kills, and gold, and CS. So they, once again, it is not looking good for Palo Alto. Newport really showing what they're made of right now, showing that they want to go to that next round. And up top, once again, Turtle showing how much of a dominant top laner he is. Once again, twice the CS, almost 3 times the CS of CMI. CMI not doing a great job here as a top laner, is pulling Turtle in, showing him he's not going to just take that sitting down. But Zac is here. Zac jumps in. Our turret does have Cell Division available, so he wants to take this turret. CMI looking to get a dunk off. He doesn't get it off in time, and Turtle walks away from that. That dunk most likely would have been enough damage. It would have been. He walks away with 200 HP, 280 HP, and the dunk at max, at I guess rank 1, is still more than enough to finish that off. Didn't actually finish it. The sound for it coming out did happen, but he didn't get to finish. So that's the first turret actually going to be picked up down bottom while all of that was happening up top for Newport. So Newport still in the driver's seat of objectives, kills, gold, CS, and turrets. So they're just looking all around like a better team right now. And every time I pause, I imagine my co-caster is going to chime in, but I don't have one. So thank you guys so much for putting up with this. You know, I know it's not as entertaining, you know, but I'm hopefully doing a great job for you guys. Yep. And we will have a co-caster in the future. It's just a temporary thing for today. So it looks like Locked actually eats a charm there, and the Spirit Rush coming out from Boxer. Actually, the crescendo from Laser gets whiffed on him, and this might be an ideal situation for them to engage. Newport really wants to be in this situation. They have the Monsoon up, and they have the Monsoon up for themselves. They have a lot of flashes up as well, but they don't have the crescendo on Palo Alto, which is huge. The crescendo is just a great AoE CC that causes the other team to just dance for the duration of it, and it really allows your team to do damage, and it's how they would come back from being behind right now. That or a very well placed Gragas ultimate is really what they need. Otherwise, I don't see them taking these team fights if they are full out 5v5s. They are going to have to poke somebody down with Tristana or some kind of range with the barrels from Locked on Gragas, and then maybe dunk them and dunk multiple people. But Darius isn't just tanky enough right now. He's only bought 2 Doran's Blades and a Chain Vest as well as the Ninja Tab Eye. So he doesn't have any bonus HP coming his way, whereas his lane partner has finished the Blade of the Ruined King for offensive damage and has also got defensive stats on top of that, finishing a Ruby Crystal and a Giant's Belt, which might turn into multiple things. He might be holding on to that Ruby Crystal for Trinity Force, and turning that into a Phage, or turning that into a Phage and then transitioning into a Frozen Mallet with the Giant's Belt, or a Warmogs, or making the Giant's Belt into something else like a Randuin. So there are many options here. I don't know what he can do. He can do multiple things. It is Aurelia, who does have multiple builds that all work on her because she's attack speed tank based. So the longer she's alive, the longer her her 10 style is up for her. So she'll be able to do the damage and deal the damage that she wants to deal. as true damage with that bonus attack speed from the Blade of the Ruined King, as well as the passive on top of it. So doing a great job there, out CSing his opponent and being 5-0. So he is another dragon coming out for Newport, and Turtle up top just saying, you know what, I want this turret, I really want it. But he's taking a lot of harass, which ends up coming to no fruition for CMI. He's not going to be able to do anything about this. He just lets him poke those minions and get HP back off the Blade of the Ruined King. So Turtle just dominating that top lane, 3 levels ahead of CMI now, and this is going to spell into a mid-game spike for him very shortly. As soon as they start grouping, the power of Aurelia is really going to be present, especially the power of Aurelia over his lane opponent, who is very behind. He's very behind right now, and our turret gets caught out right now. He is going to try and elastic slingshot over the wall. He does make it because the cocoon was used to catch him initially and not interrupt it. So he gets out of there scot-free, and it looks like Ari actually coming to top lane, and that's going to do multiple things for this team. That's actually going to free up that top lane. They are going to take the turret. The pressure has been relieved from that because they saw Ari come up top. They said, CMI, you need to get out of there. So he starts backing up early, which means that the turret, it was either him or the turret and him. So they were going to kill that turret either way, but the question was, were they going to get a Darius on top of that? So down bottom, we just saw the collateral damage come out on Ramen Bowl. It wasn't enough to finish him off, but it did get him enough, very low, and just enough for him to back off of that turret. So that does make that bottom turret take some damage, but not enough. They just scratched it. So now they are up 3 turrets to 0 in the favor of Newport, who also has 2 dragons in their favor as well. And I guess they aren't going to have a blue buff in their favor. So Nemu Boxer picking that one up for himself as well. And they ping the Baron. I'm not sure about that. Aurelia isn't around right now to actually help with that. Neither is Graves. And I think he's just really confident in his ability to do Baron as Zac. Zac has good Baron, has a moderately quick Baron with the Unstable Matter because it's on a low cooldown and does percent HP damage. And they do catch him with a Cocoon. This was not the right choice. The explosive cast coming across. Turtle is in the back, but he has no backup here. The Crescendo coming out on top of him. Are they going to be able to dunk him? There's the Ignite coming out. Kenny looking to finish off Zac. He actually does come out of the Cell Division very well. And Turtle actually duels down Darius. And looks like he's going to get a double kill here onto the Gragas. Ramen Bowl trying to pick something up here, but Turtle's going to jump right back in there. Equilibrium Strike, because he has low HP, is going to be a stun instead, and Ramen Bowl is very low. He does get taken out there by Turtle, and that is a 4-for-1 exchange. Even though they had a great Crescendo, and they had a great explosive cast come out, they just didn't have the damage on Darius or the survivability to really make anything of that fight. And that was very, very, very good by Newport. The Zac, although it was a very strange situation to put themselves in, had started the Baron, and it ultimately ended up being a bait, and it worked out for them. They were just so far ahead. Now at 12k gold ahead, and they are looking to just push these turrets. They push the middle turret as they're pushing in this top turret as well. Elastic Slingshot away, and Kenny's going to jump back in here, and I don't know if that's the greatest decision for him. He's not going to be able to make anything of it because Aurelia is just so fast. And he does pick up that Phage as well, so I don't know if that's going to turn into a Trinity Force for him, or if that's going to turn into a Giant's Belt, or combined with a Giant's Belt to make a Frozen Mallet. But they didn't pick up Bear in there, but they did pick up 4 kills for 1, and Newport looking so strong, just like they did last game. Up 5 turrets to 0, 12 kills ahead, 12k gold ahead as well, and have 2 dragons as well in their wallet. So overall, looking very strong here, looking like they're a great contender to actually compete and go all the way in this tournament. And Palo Alto, it's looking really grave, really graves for them, I guess. Oh, the puns. So they're actually very behind right now, and I don't know how they're going to be able to come back from this. They have a level disadvantage. The only way they'd be able to come back from this is if they end up taking the game into super, super late game. Because right now there's a 12k gold advantage in the favor of Newport, and that this early in the game at 23 minutes translates into they have 150% of the gold of the other team. The other team has 26k gold. Half of that is 13k gold. You add that on top, you're going to end up with the gold total that Newport has currently. So they have 50% more gold of the team of Palo Alto on Newport. So if you hold this out until super late game, and everybody ends up having 100k gold, then you only have 10% more of the gold that they do. So that's what they have to do right now, is hold this out to super late game. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. Their team comp also doesn't really favor a super late game unless they hypercarry Tristana. And while this has all been happening, the Baron is being done unanswered. Nobody's even in the vicinity of that for Palo Alto. Newport just looking to take that for themselves. No wards around either, so they have no idea that this is being done. Graves down bottom. Nemu Crunch will be how they see that this happens. They will see the Baron buff pop up on him, and they will say, "Oh, well, I guess they were doing Baron," and that means that he's also alone, but he's still very scary, being at level 14 against Tristana, who's level 12, and the level 9 support, who is 2 levels behind Aerial. And I talk about levels all the time because they are very important. Having level 11 over somebody is important. You have your second level of your ultimate. Being level 16 is important as well, like we see Ari having. And I believe Turtle is also heading towards that as well. Whereas their lane opponents have just hit level 12, which means they just picked up their level 2 ultimate. And speaking of ultimates, we have Boxer coming in across. Locked, looking like he's taking a lot of damage, but I'm just going to follow this Ari as well, zoning people out. But they actually get away from that with nobody dying. That was very impressive, and the pursuit doesn't happen. Darius backing in a bush, and they say, we're going to actually take this dragon. Darius, I think he'll be able to back before this happens. Yep, he does. Turtle sees him back right there, but he's going to be fine just picking up this dragon for himself. So he's going to be able to pick that up, and that is the third dragon in favor of Newport. They have just taken every dragon this game, and that makes their lead at 16k gold, and none of their team members have backed. They are looking to keep the pressure on right now, and they are just so far ahead. Palo Alto looking like they need a miracle come their way right now. 16.5k gold lead, 5 turrets up, 3 dragons up, a Baron on the team of Newport. This is just looking like they need to push some turrets right now. They need to pick up that little bit of CS, push some turrets down. It did turn into a Trinity Force, so tons of damage coming out here for Aurelia. So Turtle actually taking that phase into a Trinity Force instead of combining it for the Frozen Mallet, which is, you know, something that I had said could be a possible build coming out for him. So being at 8-0-1 at 200 CS at 26 minutes, he's in very great shape, especially since he's got twice the kills at I guess he's got infinity times more kills than his lane opponent, because his lane opponent has gotten nothing. He's got 0 kills, 0 assists, but he's got twice the CS, or I guess 80 CS at this point. He is coming back a little bit because the lanes have been so shoved towards Palo Alto's base that they're going to be able to CS a little bit better right now. But that's not going to be enough to make up for the 16k gold lead. Critical mass for team fights typically seems to be about 12k gold, where the teams are just so far ahead. 12k gold translates into 4 bloodthirsters, 4 people on a team having essential items of damage, not including a support. So that means that somebody has an entire bloodthirster over you, or somebody has an entire needlessly large rod or Rabadon's Deathcap over you, and that just translates into so much damage and teamfight presence. The only thing that really counters that much gold is hard CC on people who don't buy Merc Treads or something along those lines, or buy HP. That's why Assassins are just so hard to play, because you put yourself at risk when you dive into people. So right now we have a split push coming out with a 2-1 and 2. Aurelia in the middle says, you know, I can take this on. I'm level 16. But Kenny actually going to go top. Down bottom, we do have a turret being taken. The tier 2 turret, the final tier 2 turret for Palo Alto, taken by Newport right now. And now they're just going to push this up. And because all of their lanes won, they're able to just pressure. Oh, he just kills him with the buckshot and the collateral damage as Tristana is rocket jumping away. Nemu Crush doing a great job there, freeing up that turret and leaving some pressures. Our turret turning into a big balloon right there, just bouncing around, just having a little fun there. Knows how far ahead they are right now. Knows that this game looks like it's going to be theirs, and he's looking for that final team fight. He jumps onto Laser. Laser taking damage, takes an Equilibrium Strike slow, and does have a Crescendo come across, but down bottom we do have Graves doing a lot of damage to Gragas. He gets picked up there, and also Turtle actually picked up the Sona, and Ari, I believe, picked up Gragas as well. So the Equilibrium Strike coming across, the Blade of the Ruin King coming across as well to help slow his opponent and speed himself up. And they are pushing some Nexus turrets now. They have 2 inhibitors down. And Crush looks like he's ready to do this. But he says, I want to at least dunk somebody. He does get that kill onto the Aerial Platypus. And Aerial Platypus has to be feeling a little like, why me about that? And he goes for another dunk there. Turtle has Ignite ticking. Is it going to be enough? He does pick him up. Gets the shutdown. That is a 2 kills for Darius. He was looking at 0 previously. But it looks like the final inhibitor turret and inhibitor is going to get dropped here. The super minions are going to be pouring into the base in a matter of minutes. Matter of seconds, actually. They're just going to come streaming down that middle lane. And looks like we have Boxer trying to get away from Kenny here. Does have another charge of Spirit Rush. He does try to get away from this. And, oh, wow. So they sacrificed both Graves. And Ari actually does turn around and pick up Kenny there on the Elise. Oh, wow. And Lasers is going to get taken out here. The Ignite coming on Nemu Boxers right there. He does get taken out by Darius, who is up to 3 kills now. The Elastic Slingshot coming across, but they do body slam into him. Will he be able to turn this around? I don't know. Locked and CMI both very low. He does actually take an explosive cast to the face as he gets apprehended. And the shutdown comes across. Wow, he just hit him with a stretchy strike. That was enough to take him out there. Ramen Bowl looking for his, I believe, his first kill of the game. Yes, it is. Right now, onto the Cell Division. Oh, no, it gets stolen by Locked right there. Oh, wow. So Newport actually taking advantage of the overzealous turret pushing that was happening from, Palo Alto taking advantage of the overzealous turret pushing that was coming out from Newport. So Newport there actually ended up getting pushed out of the base, but at the same time, they took 3 inhibitors, all of the inhibitor turrets, and that means that 2 super minions will be spawning every super minion spawn. Because when you take all 3, you get double. So there's going to be 6 coming every wave, 6 super minions, and they're just so scary. It is 30 minutes into the game. Nobody's level 18 or even level 16 on the team of Newport, and they're going to have to deal with these minions. And that means the pressure is on, and they have to keep it on by Newport. If they just let them farm up, then they will have a different story come next team fight for Newport. Newport needs to keep the pressure on. They need to not be content with them just farming in their base. They need to apply the pressure. Baron won't be up for a little bit because they did have Baron a little while ago. So Baron will be up in the next 2 minutes, I believe. So the question is, do they want to push these Nexus turrets and take out that Nexus and go for the win and solidify that 2-game win in this best of 3 for themselves on Newport? Or are they going to... Oh, I was wrong. Baron just spawned right now. So Baron's coming up. Looks like they're actually going to ignore that and just keep pushing in these super minions. They have so many minions coming in. They're just pouring in. It is so much damage to those turrets, so much tankiness just added to the team. And Crush gonna have the range to hit these turrets. Looking for a Cocoon there. The turret does get taken out though, but our turret does get apprehended. It means Apprehend's gonna be down for a decent amount of time. It is a rather long cooldown at about 15 seconds. The explosive cast coming across for a disengage. The crescendo comes across. Means the Turtle's just running up all in there. Wants to pick up Kenny. Oh, he gets hit into the fountain, but the fountain doesn't actually pick him up. And we have Let's Bounce coming out as well. And while all this is happening, there's so many super minions coming out. That is the 2 for 0 trade. Newport gonna take this Nexus, gonna take game 2 in this best of 3 for themselves. And Newport moving on, knocking down Palo Alto into the losers bracket of the High School Star League. Wow, that was a great game coming out there. Great play from Palo Alto, great play from Newport, and Palo Alto once again coming out on top in the second game of the series. Great job by them. And I believe that's actually the last game of the day coming out right now. I'm just going to get confirmation on that. But yeah, thank you guys once again for tuning in. I believe I was told that was the last game, the last rounds of the day. I've been doing this now since 5, so I've been doing this for 7 hours, I think. So thank you so much. If you've been here the entire time, hats off to you. You know, we had some bumps along the way, but thank you so much. This is the first round of the HSL tournament, the High School Star League, just starting up their League of Legends department. So follow them on Twitter, hit them up on Facebook with a like. You can also give them suggestions. You can email them as well. hsstarleague.com if you want to get involved as well. I'm Zirene. I've been casting for you all day with various casters. First, I had some guy 1144 with me, and then I had Adam Dello step in for a game. And I want to have big shout out to them as well for helping me because I would have been solo casting all day if it wasn't for that. And it was just those 2 games by themselves are very, very taxing. They were very great games, and they had me engaged the entire time. Hopefully you guys were engaged too. You can follow me at LOL Zirene. We will have more games for you next Saturday, so follow us on Twitch right now, so you will be informed when we go live for our League of Legends. We'll be coming at you, I think, around the same time. I think it'll be 5 o'clock Saturdays is when it plans to be. So thank you so much for coming in here. Thank you. Follow us. Big shout out to all of you guys, and also shout out to Newport and everybody else who helped me out today. So I'm going to play some music, and thanks again for stopping by. I'm Zirene, and have a good day, man.